Hello everyone, FPL Willem here. In this video I will show you guys my favorite Gameweek 5 lineup for the wildcard. We will start with the targets so we can focus on the teams with the best fixtures, and after that we will start building the wildcard team. At last I will show you guys my team, what it would look like with the game weeks beyond. If you guys could like this video and sub to my channel, that would mean a lot to me. I've already passed the 100 mark. Let's push up to the 150 and after that the 200 mark. I would also like to point out this video is recorded on the Thursday, the 21st, so the weekend still have to be passed, so watch out for injuries on the weekend. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's move on to the targets. Now, to quickly add on before we move on to the targets, I will not walk out myself. I want to make that very clear. I will go with a different strategy and save it for after the league phase. This is basically because I like to have a get out of jail card, because that's basically a wild card for me. It's a get out of jail card. Whenever you get hit with injuries, whenever you get hit with suspensions, or your team will be knocked out where you didn't expect it, like Celtic winning from Barcelona in the knockout phase. You never know what happens there. At least you have a wild card to fix your team. My team is doing great, to be honest. I think I have some great fixtures upcoming and I will not need it, and I would love to need it whenever I have some injuries or suspensions. Basically you do have to use it before the semi-finals or the final, at least before the final, let's say it like that, because it will be a waste otherwise. But yeah, if you don't wildcard, this video will still help you picking some players out for the upcoming game weeks with AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Celtic, Manchester City and PSV, with some great fixtures there. Only Dortmund, yeah, they play against Barcelona in matchday 6, that sucks, but before that they play against Zagreb, Bologna and Shakhtar. And with Manchester City, they play against Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain. Now, I have Paris Saint-Germain marked red, but still Paris Saint-Germain is doing terrible so far. In the league they are winning, but they aren't doing all too great. And I still think Juventus, compared to Manchester City, is a lesser team. I think Manchester City on the day is the best team in the world. Even if you don't like it, at least in matchday 6 you have 2 transfers, so you can move them out. If you get some injuries, yeah, that's not happy days, let's say it like that. But you still have 2 transfers to transfer some of them out. Just don't go with a Manchester City defender, because they often get scored against, especially probably against Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain. Even against the lesser teams like Feyenoord and Club Brugge, they will probably get scored against, but they still will score some goals there. But yeah, these are the teams to focus on. I will start building my wildcard team, and we will start building the wildcard team with the goalies. Now, for my Game Week 5 wildcard, I've decided to go with the goalkeeper lineup: Peña from Barcelona and Celtic goalkeeper Schmeichel. Now, there is some positives and some negatives about this lineup. The positive is that, as you can see below me, they switch up every single game until Game Week 7. Game Week 8, they all play on the same time, on the same date, so I think Peña is the better option there. But Game Week 5, 6 and 7 they play on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Schmeichel plays on the Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Their fixtures are also decent. They aren't the best. I think there are goalkeepers with, or teams with, better fixtures. You could also go with picking Raya and then some cheap goalkeeper, as the defense of Arsenal is still great and they have 3 or 4 great fixtures. But I like having double the chance for a clean sheet. Peña has some great fixtures and Schmeichel has some decent fixtures there as well. If you wait after my wildcard, when I'm done with the forwards, you will see the fixtures and you will see the switch up on the Tuesday and the Wednesday with the goalies. Now, there's also a negative, as I've said, and the negative is that Peña takes up a Barcelona spot. This means that a player like Koundé, with a bit of a spoiler alert, will miss out on this team, as there are 2 better Barcelona options in my team, or at least in my wildcard team. So it's your choice if you would pick Peña. If you don't like Peña because he takes up that 3rd spot, you could also go with the Atalanta goalkeeper and get Koundé in. Atalanta goalkeeper doesn't really switch up with Schmeichel like these 2 do, but yeah, still an option. And you could also go with just picking Raya and some cheap goalkeeper. I just like having in every single match possible the option to substitute a goalkeeper, and if the other didn't do that great. But yeah, these are my goalkeepers. Let's move on to the defenders. Now, in the defending department, I've decided to go with Hernandez, Grimaldo, Molina, Gabriel and Buscagli. I won't talk about Hernandez a lot. He's a super attacking wingback who I've talked about in other videos. He plays against Slovan Bratislava, Red Star, Girona and Dinamo Zagreb. Lots of potential for a clean sheet there, and lots of potential for attacking returns. And he also gets around 2 points for ball recoveries there as well. And maybe against the lesser teams he gets some more ball recoveries, or he gets some lesser ball recoveries because they have the ball more often than they have against a team like Liverpool. But yeah, that's basically an honest I expect with a clean sheet, so an 8 or 10 pointer from him. As I couldn't get in Koundé, I've decided to go with Grimaldo. He has Salzburg, Inter, Atletico Madrid and Sparta Praha. So the first game is amazing, and after that it will be a bit less. He has amazing stats and gets some good ball recoveries in there as well. Against Salzburg I expect a clean sheet there and some attacking threats hopefully as well. He plays against Inter on the Tuesday in game week 6. So at least you can sub him out if he doesn't work out. Yeah, and after that it's Atletico Madrid and Sparta Praha. So I think he's a decent option, basically because he plays on Tuesday against Inter, not on a Wednesday. And next to Grimaldo is Molina. Molina plays for Atletico Madrid. He got a goal against Paris Saint-Germain and nicked the Man of the Match award there as well. Might feel a bit of a point chasing option, but the next 4 games for Atletico Madrid are Sparta Praha, Slovan Bratislava, Leverkusen and Salzburg. That's 3 out of the 4 games are great, and I hope to expect some returns for him, at least some clean sheets. Atletico Madrid used to be a great defending team. They aren't really anymore, but he scored, he gets some attacking returns. He did it last year as well. So yeah, with 3 out of 4 games against Sparta Praha, Slovan Bratislava and Salzburg, one of the worst teams in the league, I expect them to get some returns there. Next to him is Gabriel. First game against Sporting away is tricky, but at least it's on a Tuesday in game week 5, so you can sub him out if it doesn't work out. After that it's Monaco, Dinamo Zagreb and Girona. Arsenal only conceded so far against Inter with a debatable penalty. At least I find it a debatable penalty. I think it's fairly given, but it could be not given in another game. They aren't really threatening in the attacking department, Arsenal, I do have to say that, but the defense stands strong. Gabriel also has a great header in his arsenal, no pun intended, with some ball recoveries there as well. I expect some good points from him. And the last one in the list is maybe the odd one out of the bunch. It's Boskagli from PSV. Absolutely nailed on the PSV squad. Had the most difficult fixtures behind him. He got clean sheets against Girona with 7 ball recoveries. Upcoming fixtures, as you can see on your screen, are Shakhtar, Brest, Red Star, and the last one is Liverpool, so maybe a bit more difficult. With Boskagli, you can expect a guarantee 90 minutes. I didn't put any players from Liverpool in this team, or at least in the defense, as they are top of the league, and that often means they will get rested. So I'm just a bit, I don't know who to put in there. If they're qualified on the last game week, PSV plays against Liverpool on the last game week, so maybe Liverpool plays with a lesser team and PSV can beat them. But yeah, these are my defenders. Let's move up to the midfielders. Now for the midfield, I've decided to go with Pulisic, Wirtz, Koen, Rafinha and Foden. Now, to quickly start off with Pulisic and Wirtz, I've talked about them a lot in the previous videos. In the last slide, I've shown Hernandez and Grimaldo, so the fixtures are great. You guys will see it after this wildcard. Pulisic, as I've said, has some great fixtures. He has shown a lot of attacking threats and he scored in difficult games, so I expect him to do it in easier games. Wirtz has the same, but feels more fixture-proof. Wirtz only has, not Leverkusen, he plays for Leverkusen, he has Atletico Madrid as a difficult opponent, and after that it's just basically some easier games for him. He often scores some goals and he gets assists basically against any team. He's basically fixture proof, as I've said, and I think he can get some Man of the Match reward there as well. Now next to them is Koen, a 4.5 million Celtic midfielder, and there's always a player you need for, well, not one, often 2 players you need to afford the rest of your team. Koen is an amazing player and has some great fixtures, as you can see on your screen. He plays against Club Brugge, Dinamo Zagreb and Young Boys in the next game. He annihilated Leipzig and has shown in the games before that he has a lot of attacking threats. Doesn't always return into goals or assists, but it does show in big chances created. Koen also scored 4 goals in the league and assisted 6 in 10 games, so that's a goal and an assist in every game in the Scottish League. Now I know it is a lesser league, I gotta admit that, but with the run and the form he is in, and don't forget he's only 4.5 million, I think he is a great pick. Now Rafinha and Foden, both a bit of a point chasing. I have to admit, both a bit of a point chasing, but they have proven it already so far. Rafinha's games are great and he has proven to return against every team. Doesn't matter the caliber of the team. He scored against Bayern Munich and he can score against Slovan Bratislava, just one of the best and one of the worst teams. Yeah, as I said, doesn't matter the caliber. He does get substituted often around the 60th to 70th minute, but before that substitution he often has some returns in his pocket already. And for Foden it's basically the same, except for the the substitutions. He often plays at 90 minutes. His games are a bit more difficult with Feyenoord, Juventus, PSG and Brugge, but Foden has shown it against every type of opponent so far. And with the first game against a leaky Feyenoord at home, I expect some returns there as well. Now, this is not the most surprising midfield, I have to admit it. These players are all doing great, but with the fixtures they have, and I will show you guys in the wildcard. After it, you will shoot yourself in the foot for not picking them. At least you could. But maybe you guys can find some hidden gems there as well. I've looked, and this is the best I could find. It wouldn't surprise me if Yamal starts getting points instead of Rafinha. That's basically how the game works. But yeah, for now, let's move on to the forwards. Now my three forwards consist of Luuk de Jong, Robert Lewandowski and Erling Haaland. And I don't think I have to talk you guys into Haaland and Lewandowski. They've shown enough already. And I've talked about the fixtures there as well. You could go with Kane instead of Haaland. I think that's a viable option. But I like the Feyenoord fixture for Haaland more than I like the PSG fixture for Kane. They both play at home, so if you go with Kane, at least you have him already for the next few games, because after this Game Week 5, Bayern has some great games. Now, of course, the odd one out of the three is Luuk de Jong. He hasn't done anything fantasy related, but he has shown that he has some great fixtures ahead. He came close twice last game against Girona with hitting the post, and he missed a sitter. And it would have been way easier for me if he at least scored one to lure you guys into the Luuk de Jong hype. I don't think he will stay quiet against the likes of Shakhtar, Brest and Red Star, which are the three next upcoming games for PSV. But I think I can understand if you guys would go with another player from the same price range with a few more million or a few more tons. You could go with Guirassy from Dortmund or Gyökeres from Sporting. I just think Dortmund play against Barcelona in Game Week 6, so that's not a great pick or option. And Gyökeres plays against Arsenal in this game week. But yeah, I think there are still great options. They just have a bit of a worse fixture run. Now, as you guys can see, this team gives me 1.3 in the bank, and this is created with a new account, so I have 100 million. I think most of you guys can afford it. You should afford it. There's also room to upgrade players if necessary. So yeah, this was basically my team. Let's just quickly take a look on the strategy for this squad in the upcoming game. So we will see who we will transfer in Game Week 6, who we will transfer in Game Week 7, and we will take out, of course, in Game Week 6 and 7. So let's move on. Now, to move on to my beautiful Excel sheet, I know it isn't a graphical masterpiece, but yeah, I'm not skilled enough and I'm limited in time, so this is the best I could come up with. This section is always a bit of a rambling section, so please excuse me for that. But starting off with the goalies, once again, you guys can see they switch up on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. It's not perfect games, as you can see in Game Week 6. It is a bit more difficult, but at least you have two chances for clean sheets. And now that I think about it, as we've said before, I think you could go with the Arsenal goalkeeper Raya, where you will increase your clean sheet chance in one game, but you don't have to switch up like these two guys have in every single game. And talking about the Arsenal defense, moving up to Gabriel, he has a difficult fixture in the first game week as he plays against Sporting on the Tuesday, but at least you can sub him out if he doesn't work out. After it, it's Monaco, Zagreb and Girona, two of them at home, where they're even better in the defense. So I think Gabriel is set in stone there. In match day 6, you guys can see there are some difficult fixtures here, but it's not all too bad. Match day 6 is just a week with difficult fixtures for everyone who plays Fantasy Champions League. Only the limitless people can avoid it. So if you are going limitless, Game Week 6 is a popular limitless week. Grimaldo will be transferred out from Game Week 6 for me, as he plays against Inter, and after it he plays against Atletico Madrid. Wirtz can play. That basically because he's a midfielder and clean sheets don't really mean as much, and I think he has some attacking returns in, especially against Atletico Madrid, maybe Inter there as well. And I've taken out Haaland there as well. You could leave Haaland in and take the transfer with you to match day 7 for 3 free transfers there, but I don't think you need 3 free transfers in match week 7. But I would take out Haaland for Kane and Grimaldo for Kim. Both Bayern plays because they just have great fixtures with Shakhtar, Feyenoord and Slovan Bratislava ahead. To think even further ahead for Game Week 7, I would take out Molina for Rudiger. I've gone with Rudiger because Real Madrid aren't as nailed yet to qualify, so I expect him to play. I expect Real Madrid to play their best lineup to get in that top 8 spots in the Champions League. Rudiger plays against Salzburg and Brest in the last 2 match days, and I think clean sheet potential is big there. Now, of course, this can all go wrong with a few injuries, but I just love planning these out. This probably will even go wrong with a few injuries and some suspensions. But if you don't get any injuries or suspensions, this will be the way I would set up my wildcard for match day 5. Now, this was basically my wildcard for Game Week 5. I hope you guys enjoyed my wildcard template. I put a lot of time in these. It's planning out a lot. I'm not complaining here, but it just does take a lot of work out of me. So I hope it works out for you guys. I would like to hear from you guys in the comments which picks I forgot or which picks you will take. But for now, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you guys are. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you all have a good one. Bye bye.